Alright guys, so for today I wanted to go over, I'm going to try to do these shows as often as I can, at least 2 to 3 times a week. It really depends on the day and kind of what's going on, if there's anything specific to talk about or anything specific that I noted throughout the day or that other people noted or something that one of the other rotation crew saw, and if they're in here they're welcome to talk. I see a few people on. I see Boof, CT's on, Josh is on, so feel free to jump in guys. I'm recording and doing this, but it's by no means quote-unquote my show. If anybody else wants to hop in, they're at least live on Discord. I don't know if they're in the chat. But
I just walked in the door, Gator, so I don't know what's going on, but I'm watching.
Cool. Just doing a show, just going to talk through some things, and feel free to jump in. I'm going to go over, I'm sharing my screen, so I'm going to go over an Amazon trade, and then I want to talk about something that happened yesterday and happened today for somebody else, and talk about a little bit of the psychology of not tilting, or something that one of the many things that you could talk about. So, one thing, so yesterday, before I get to this trade, I had a plan to go golfing at like 12. It got pushed back to 12. So I had that on my agenda, and I traded early, and I was up $5,000 in the first like 15 minutes. And I don't remember what I caught, probably Tesla. And instead of being smart and locking in like we've talked about many times, I decided to keep trading. And because I decided to keep trading, I lost, tilted, and ended up down a little over 10 grand. Probably in the 15 grand area if I'm remembering correctly. And I was like kind of nervous, kind of pissed off, kind of upset, because I'm about to go golfing, I'm about to go have some fun. And instead of like doing that up money, now I'm down money and I have a limited amount of time to make it back. And instead of locking on to Tesla and tilting, because what's been happening in Tesla the last few days is Tesla can be going up, and Jess talked about it earlier, you can totally lose on when it's going up with these fills. Like I was getting filled yesterday when I went in, I was getting filled above the ask and below the bid on the sell. And I can always go and try to dispute those trades, but point being is it wasn't working, and instead of being like, yo, this isn't working, and just identifying that it wasn't working, I was forcing something to work because I thought it was going to go up. And I was thinking about the money and how much it could make me, and how quickly it could make it back if it would just pop, if it would just pop. But what saved me yesterday, and got me back close to green, I ended red yesterday, very small red, but what helped me get back was Boof. In the rotation chat, one of the rotation guys, Boof was in here, and he was like, Google, yo guys, Google. And so I looked, and I saw what Google was doing. It was running up, and then I traded Google, ended up making almost all my day back, and then got off when Google got hard. I was down very small, but I had other stuff to do, and it wasn't worth it to me to stay in and to, give back some of what I made. I just took the small down day and let it be with that, and I was actually happy with it. But the value and what stopped me from tilting today when I got down to a very small really early was rotation and was detaching. Yesterday I was so locked in on trying to make money in a certain name that I thought was going to go up, or that I thought was looking good, that I got tunnel vision. I got sucked in to one thing and didn't see everything else that was happening in the market. I didn't see the news flow, I didn't see other names, I didn't see if things were trending. I just got sucked into a name, and I wasn't able to mentally detach until it was almost too late. And so instead of being like, hey, this isn't working, I'm going to back up a little bit, or looking around to see what other people are doing, I just got sucked in. And that happens when we don't detach. And that's where the beauty of the T3 Live Room, the VTF, this chat here in Discord is so valuable. And one way you can use it to help you from tilting to stop tilting is that detachment, because you're emotionally invested, whether you believe it or not, or no matter how calm you are or anything else, you're emotionally invested in your trading and in making money. And when you're losing money, you get emotional. and your body starts reacting a certain way. And you can, instead of detaching from the situation and being like, okay, what's going on? What's the market? What do I need to do to get back? Should I size down? Let's not smack, instead of doing 10 contracts, let's not take 30 and try to make it back in one trade. Let's find little names that working and then scalping it higher. Instead of doing that, we find it impossible to detach and we lock on. So what this room does, and what the value of trading with other people is you have to find other people here that you respect as traders, that you respect their ideas, you respect what they do, you see what they do, and you don't copy them completely, but you look at it and you find, like Geronimo talked about tonight on his show, you find something that's working. You find an area of the market that's moving, and you move to it. You detach from what you want, from what your emotions are drawing out of you, and you find something that is actually trading well. You trade with that, and then as soon as it stops working, you detach, you try not to get sucked into it, and you wait for the next setup. Easier said than done, but trading with other people, hearing other people talk, hearing the four of us, Mitchell in here, Booth, CT, Rose when she's in here, whoever, people, Geronimo, Eddie over there, other people that are talking, that are saying things different than you. If somebody is saying something different than what you're thinking, you should probably listen to them because they have a different perspective. They might be seeing something that you're not seeing. And you need to be trading with people that you respect, that when they start saying something, yo, this name isn't working, yo, PI is garbage, you should be able to take that information in, and instead of having what we all have, which is an ego of, yo, no, this is going to work for me. I'm the person that's going to get good PI. And then you're slamming in these things. Man, if it breaks here, I'm going to make the money when everybody else is losing. We've all done that. Like if I was saying who here has done that, most of us would be like, yeah, me. Almost all of us have done that. I've done it. So that's just really quick, and it's something I'm going to talk about tomorrow, and I think over the next week is a few things. I posted some podcasts in here earlier from a guy who I respect and listen to a lot of stuff, Jocko Willink. You can check him out if you'd like, but has some really amazing books out there and other stuff about discipline and mental things and leadership. And that's the thing I love most about this room, and that helped me today because instead of tilting towards Tesla when it was really hard this morning, all I could think through my head was, okay, let's see what everybody else is doing. Let's wait, let's look for a good setup, and let's see what the market gives me. So I didn't tilt. I think at one point I was down very small. If you're looking at my screen, I started the day at 50,000 in my account. Again, this is just, I empty my account every month and start over. Right now anyway. I might leave this in next month, but so that's where it was at today. Started at 50, and at one point I was down at 48, and then I made it back. At this point in the day when Apple came here, I had been trading small. I had been watching the market. I had been detached, and I knew what I wanted to do. I knew the picture I had in my head. And because I was able to detach, unlike what I initially was able to do yesterday, now when this happens here in Apple, I wasn't toxic. I wasn't angry. I wasn't down a lot of money having to make the money back. I was up a little bit of money. I was relaxed. Booth had called out some shop. I traded some shop. I traded a few other things. This is an hour and 18 minutes into the day. I saw Apple running up earlier in the day, and I saw how well it was trending, so I was waiting for this move to happen. And so I think I set an alert or something for Apple to hit the 21. And once it hit the 21, I came back to it at this point. And I'm just going to go ahead and play the video, and I'll talk through it. But really quick, I think you can see my mouse. I'll show you what I liked about it and why I liked this. And how I caught this move. What I look for in names like Apple and Facebook when they're kind of trending in a direction during the day is it went up, it continued to go up, and it popped up. It broke down and hit the 21. You can see it moving all day. It kind of went up. You got a flag form, and you got a nice little pattern here. The 1 minute stochastic, look at the 1 minute stochastic, how tight that is. That is beautiful. Look at this 2 minute stochastic. It's going down. You've got some red bars here coming down. I think the market had fell recently. If you look at the Qs, yeah, they came down too. So it's kind of trending with it. The 2 minute stochastic is also down below that 20% line. Below that 20% line. It's about to cross up. It's about to cross up. Not very concerned with this here. This doesn't really matter. The only thing about the 5 that I care about is this. It hit the trend line. It hit the 8 EMA. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to play this. And being able to use both rooms to detach during the day was extremely, extremely helpful. Am I actually in Apple here? I might have started this video a little bit early. Let me click back. So I haven't actually watched this yet. Okay, so you can see where I bought, so I'm going to pause there. So I had already bought, so I started buying on this candle. So I'll tick back just a hair. I got into Apple. When did I buy my first one? You'll see it. So you'll see me start buying Apple here. I think I buy 30, 30, 30, and I just know that this is about to pop up. I see the Qs going up a little bit. It's generally following the Qs. I don't know, quote unquote, that it's going to go up, but I'm watching it go up. I'm watching it start ticking higher. So I get in my head that I like it, that I want to buy it. I had bought 100 contracts, and now I'm waiting here. And 100 might sound like a lot, and it is. But when you get Apple, and the spread was when I bought it 5 cents, and you got filled 12 cents, and now look at this, pause. And you got filled at 2 cents below the bid, and you got a 10-cent spread there, and now it pops here, and you're up a little bit of money. That's super helpful. And I'm not showing y'all this to be toxic. I'm just showing what I'm looking for in a good trade, so you can tell how I look for these kind of slower moves, because I called this one out in chat. And this is what I saw, and this was a beautiful kind of quote-unquote load the boat, watch Apple, see it, let it run a little bit trade. So I'll go ahead and play it out. So I'm in 100 contracts. I was talking, and I was ready to sell in case it dropped. But the cool thing is about Apple is that once it's popped a little bit, more than likely these contracts weren't going to drop more than 15 cents or 10 cents on me. So even though I had 100 of them, now that I'm up, and I entered at the right time, right when that stochastic was about to cross, right when everything looked like it was going to go up and you had that 1 minute break up, I'm instantly up money. So this hold isn't even mentally tough because I don't care if I break even, I'm up money. The trick is I'm not going to lose money on that trade. And I'll let this run. So you had another thing I liked about this. You had the 1 minute breakout. You had a 2 minute green takes red off of a 21. You don't really have a 5 minute breakout here. The time of day. Yeah, you're not going to have a 5 minute unless Apple goes up and breaks out. But so all these things are kind of going in the right direction. No, this isn't, the linear regression line is not going in the right direction, but it hasn't crossed below the 8 yet. And Curbster was saying something about that. Another blessing with trading in this room while we're watching this trade go out is you learn from other people. So I've learned so much from other people in this room. Curbster, little Curbster, the whole stochastic thing, they're the ones who came up with it, who told me about it, who I've kind of been implementing it and putting it into effect for myself. Guys like Booth, rotation, finding different names. He's really good at finding different names, at playing them, at catching things. CT, Mitchell talking in the room here. Mark, everything that Mark taught us. All the stuff that we learn here, you learn, and you learn how to apply it to yourself. You know, if all you can do, and you're a one-trick pony, and you can only do one thing, you can only do that one thing until it stops working. Once it stops working, or you have a week or two where it's not working, that's going to be a really hard week or two for you. It's going to be very difficult for you to play things out, for you to, like if you were only trading Tesla, it's the only name you knew how to trade, and you relied on PI 100% and all that, and you didn't do anything else and you didn't know anything else, well, what would happen? This last week, you'd be hurting, you'd be stressing, you'd be getting wrecked on it. But if you've learned other strategies over your time in the room, you've watched Mark, you've watched us, you've watched other people that you trust, you've learned to detach from trades and not get sucked in. And all I was telling myself this morning, and you can just watch Apple tick up here, all I could tell myself this morning was, listen, it's okay. It doesn't matter if you don't do another Tesla trade. And if you look on my thing, you can see I tried Tesla a few times. But it doesn't matter. Don't size into it. Don't go heavy. It's okay. No matter what you do, just wait. The room is going to find something for you. You're going to find something. Look around. Let the market set up. Let things happen. Make a smart trade. And I did tilt some today. Thankfully, I didn't do too bad, and I never gave back my day. And I overtraded some in the afternoon before Facebook started taking off, but it wasn't as bad. It wasn't too hefty, and I always kind of recognized it as soon as I started doing that, and I just got off, went and played with my kids, talked, chatted in here, listened to Geronimo, listened to some other stuff, looked at the market, just tried to detach from me trying to tilt and making money back. Because I think I had originally been up more than I was up, and I had lost some. If you look at that last Tesla trade on my orders and fills, I think I lost, 50 cents on 30 contracts, so like 1,500, so I was up a little bit more before this Apple happened. I don't sell Apple here. I want to quickly talk about this, why I don't sell Apple here. So why I don't sell Apple here is the 2-minute stochastic. Now there's a full risk chance that this one is going to start ticking down here, but notice my contracts really never dropped. So even though Apple did this, I didn't lose a lot in the contract. So I'm kind of just skimming this. They don't really drop. So I'm not at great risk. You are at risk, because I've done another video before where I show this failing. You are at risk of this just tanking against you and you losing. But at this point I was patient. I wanted to let the trade play out, and I thought Apple could break out and go up to high a day. And I think it did end up doing that. I think I sell before it does that though. But because the 2-minute hadn't started coming close together and the 2-minute hadn't got up here, which it will soon, it hadn't got up here, I didn't sell. When it does do that, I think I sell, and I think Apple pops after that. But right now, when this 1 minute starts coming together, if you really want to lock in and be 100% safe, quote unquote, this is your sell time. This would be around your sell time right here, when this 1 minute starts kind of pinching together. And if it starts crossing down, you're more than likely going to get one red bar, maybe two, and it'll go somewhere in the middle before it ticks back up, unless there's something that's just overwhelmingly strong about it. But the Qs are still in my favor, and I hold this for a little bit longer. We'll wait and see when I sell. But that's your own risk parameters. The idea and the trick of this trade was that entry, that perfect entry right there. What happened here? I think I'm still in Apple. Somebody was calling out Facebook, and I think maybe I was interested in trading Facebook. But because I was in Apple, I don't remember if I messed with it here or not, to be honest with you. I might. Or somebody asked me if I liked it. I can't remember, so I was probably talking about it. But I do have my eye on Apple, if you can see my Fidelity chart. So I'll let this go, just to let it play out while we're sitting here. But thoughts on any questions, first about the trade, but I really wanted to hammer home that when you're tilting, when that comes in your head, trust the people around you, trust the room, trust the news flow. I'm not saying slam into anything, but trust what you've learned and continue to learn and grow, so you can look around you, see other people succeeding, and I'm not going to say latch on to them, but in a way latch on to their success. And Mark said the same thing sometimes. He'd be like, yo, I'm learning, like, you guys just made me money. I'm leaning on you, I can't see anything right now. And other people are in here looking for stuff. You're not alone. So don't trade like you're alone. People here care. People here want to help. The rotation crew wants to help. We're looking for ideas. Sometimes we have really hard and really red and really bad days. CT did something that was amazing the other day, and that we should all learn from. He admitted that he had been having a hard time. That's super hard to do. You know why it's hard to do? Ego. It is incredibly hard to admit that you're having a hard time and you need help and you're trying to look for something to work. And that shows a high level of maturity to be able to do that. And it's just a fact. I still hold Apple here, by the way, because I don't remember. I just held it. I felt good about it going higher. So being able to admit that you need help, and then looking around, I still hold Apple here, looking around for people that you respect, to see what's working, to slowing down, to detaching emotionally from your trades, which is so incredibly hard. But to be able to do that and to adjust is what can make you, and what can help make you, a successful long-term trader, and not tilt and continue to tilt. We're all going to tilt. But what can you do to prevent that from continuously happening? And when you recognize it in yourself, what can you do? One of the things you can do, and the only thing I'll hit on tonight, just to beat a dead horse a little bit more, is to relax, and is to detach. At least detach and look around. Take one step back and look around, talk to the people around you, and see what else is happening. See what else is up. And to me, that's the mark of what can help you, at least part one of helping you not tilt. So when this play comes, because if I would have been down a lot here, you know how hard this play would have been to take and hold through all this, which I hold and it goes, I think it goes up if I'm remembering correctly. You know how hard this hold would have been if I would have been down $10,000, $5,000, whatever it is, whatever's big to you, 1,000. It would have been so incredibly hard because I would have been scared that it wouldn't have worked and I would have lost more money. What made this trade easy was I wasn't toxic. I was up money. And because of the good entry, my mind was clear and I could see my plan, I could see my strategy, the strategies that we've learned in this room. I could see the portals happening, I could see all that happening, the stochastics, because I wasn't clouded with toxicity from tilting. And that's the danger of tilting. And that's this trade, and then what happens in Facebook later, was the positive outgrowing of me being able to detach, remembering how Boof helped yesterday, remembering that the market is going to give me something. Let's wait to see what it gives me and not blow up. I don't have to make all my money in one name. And that's how I came back today and had, I think, my biggest day of the month. It was close to it, if not the biggest day of the month. And this trade was part of it, getting it green here. So as far as just the initial, as far as the mind part of it and all, that's what I've got for the psychological part of tonight's show. Any comments are welcomed. Really quick on Apple here. The reason I didn't get out of it yet, and you're like, why aren't you out of this trade? Look at the bid and the ask on my, if you're looking right over here, look at the bid and the ask. They're not dropping. The price on Apple is dropping. It is not going down. That does not mean it's not going to go down, but it doesn't go down. The stochastic here is crossing, so this would have been a safe time to get out, but I have confidence it's going to go up. I've seen this happen before. This is starting to cross up. I'm getting more volatility. Like this is ticking down. The stochastic is ticking down, but I'm not actually losing a lot of value here. This is ticking down. I'm not losing a lot of value. There's a few things that kind of give me hope that it's going to go a little higher. Also, being up and kind of being clear-headed and being okay with that hold was helped me there. I'm not sure when I sell this. And then it crosses back up. I'm like, okay, it crossed back up. I got some volume here. The Q's popped. You see the Q's popping there. This is why I don't like Fidelity, by the way. This is a fake volume bar. It'll go away if you refresh. That's why I don't trade Fidelity or use Fidelity's charts as legit. That's not the real volume in the Q's. But you do see this popping, and we'll see me sell in a little bit. Questions, comments, thoughts, either about the trade or if you have any thoughts specifically about, if you have any thoughts or ideas specifically about detaching, or questions about the day, I'll answer anything. And anybody else in here, I see Boof and CT in here if they want to say anything too. Load the boat example, stochastics B. I call it load the boat. Technically it's not the load the boat. Load the boat would be all of them down here, like 1, 2, 3, and this one's not important, but at least 1, 2, and 3. But Sufyan, if you go back to the beginning of this trade, you'll see the load the boat. Like that, what you see at the beginning of this Apple trade, if you go back and watch this video when I post it, is what I look for in names like Facebook and Apple that are trending higher when the first time they hit a 2-minute 21 or a moving average. I missed Apple, if you're looking at my mouse on my screen back here. I meant to take it here, I didn't, and I didn't chase. And I was waiting for a 2-minute 21. So if you watch the beginning of this, what that chart looked like is exactly what I want, quote unquote, like 100 contracts in Apple, 100 contracts in Facebook trade to look like, or NVIDIA, AMD when I take those trades. What I want that to look like is what the beginning of this contract or this trade looked like. Market conditions and everything else go into that. And if I would have lost on that initial trade, I would not have tried Apple again. It's like a one chance thing for me. When do I sell? Apple's still going up. I don't think I held through day highs. I'm pretty sure that was R2 or R3 here, and I think I sell because it hit it and bounced off of it and goes down. Jess. Jess, the answer to that would be, for the first couple of trades, yes. The trick should be not trying to make back what you lost in that tilt the next day. And so you kind of need to, in my opinion, if I was me, talking to myself after I had a tilt day or after I blew out, I would size down, or at least make sure the trades I'm taking are not because I'm trying to make money, but because this is a normal size on this trade when this trade would happen anyway, if that makes sense. So it depends on you and your mental state. If you're coming into the market being like, okay, I'm going to kill it and make this back, and this is the trade that you're trying to, I can visibly see this trade making me what I lost yesterday type stuff, and that's what you're looking at, then to me, that's when I say, no, you need to size down. Generally speaking, I'd say start off lighter, wait and see how the market is, wait until you see how the names are, trade small. If you're winning, then you like do a normal size trade. That's how I personally handle days after I size it, after I lose, Jess. Would you take this on Chase? Would you take this on Apple anytime it happens, or only after it's been trending strong in activity and volume? Only after I've seen Apple trade well throughout the day. Like, look at this 15-minute on Apple here. Like, boom, 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 and this is the first time it hit the 21. So it's above the first 2-minute high. It's been trending all day. Every time it's hit a moving average up until this point here, it popped. The first time it comes down and hits this, all the trends are facing in the right direction, I take it. If Apple's chopping around in mid-range, and let's pretend this didn't happen. If you're looking on my screen, I'm on my 15-minute chart, you can see my cursor. Let's pretend this didn't happen and Apple's just down here, or even like around here. I'm not doing this trade and I'm not taking it. I had been watching Apple and watching how it was trading, so I took this trade because I had been watching it trade, and I'd been watching how it traded. I think I probably should have sold here. I sell a little late here in Apple. You can see me sell. I think it was a bad sell. I should have sold during the pop. I held too long here because this stuff started crossing down. Once it got up here, for a second, the stochastics got up here around 90 or so, and it had failed. I should have sold. So, but that was a $5,000 trade, $500 trade, I think. So I'm not mad about that trade, but I definitely could have finished a little bit different there. And I think I buy Apple again when it goes up, but Shop was Boof is, I think maybe this was Shop or somebody else was calling Shop here. I'm not sure if I took it, but I'll pause because that's not the point of the video. So to the question, not any time. It's kind of the trending active volume. You've seen it popped and you've seen it work, Chase. Once you kind of seen that happening on other time frames, even if you traded it on other time frames and it's worked, because Apple is following that moving average all day. That's what I look for. Other questions in chat about the Apple trade itself, what it looked like at the beginning, comments about the psychology itself.